Hotapu everyone. This is His Royal Majesty Ra Sumabafek Beyme, the world's first openly African black gay king. And the role of a king is to nourish and protect his people. And today I wish to do so by sharing with you the information I received this morning from my gay ancestors during my meditations on the Dendera Zodiac. And they drew me to study this image and then go into meditation or reverie on what its meaning, to connect with them to get information. What they revealed was fascinating. This is the Dendera Zodiac, the world's first complete zodiac, and it was created by the Africans in the Nile Valley of ancient Egypt, or Kemet. And this x-axis here, where the two slabs form a junction line, traces what's called the supergalactic equator, meaning that the Africans in their zodiac system use as the foundation of their calculations the supergalactic equator. This is very advanced spherical trigonometry, very advanced astrophysics. The measurements here to do this are extraordinary. It really is African genius at its finest. Now, what this means is we must beg the question, well, why do they pick that axis, the supergalactic equator, as the foundation of measurement? One, it's extremely stable. We won't see it move in millions of years. It's the most stable thing we could think of in our near measurements in space. So it's a very stable point to measure from. So the center would be here, the center of this line. Now I'm going to click to a different image here. It's the same image, only in color a bit more sharply drawn. And that axis would go from this wheat of Virgo here. Here's Virgo. Here's a little wheat staff. If you drew a line going here and following the tails of these animals, crossing the fish of Pisces, it's the same line we just saw, the supergalactic equator. Meaning the supergalactic center must be here. The jackal's putting his foot near it. Okay? Now, when I ran the NASA calculation program that I had with a very powerful software that I own, the actual supergalactic equator's center is in here. It's a little bit up in here. Okay? Between this jackal, called the pale fox, or the white fox, and this hawk called Heru. Now, between them, note they're facing off with each other, and they are enemies. In the myths, the jackal belongs to the series of animals that are owned by a god we call Set, the god of evil and destruction. He owns things like hippos, pigs, certain kinds of snakes, jackals, wolves. He likes to work through baboons. These are some of the crocodiles. These were all Setian creatures. So the jackal is of the Set category. And of course, the hawk is of the Heru category. So Set is the bad guy, and Heru is the good guy in all storylines. Okay? So we have here a face-off between a Setian force and a Heroic force, between a Darth Vader and a Luke Skywalker type of dynamic, to make it more modernized. Now, between these two, in my actual software for calculating these things, between them literally sits the supergalactic center, the massive black hole. Now, this black hole is enormous. It's millions of times bigger than our sun. It is holding galactic clusters. Galaxies are being held by this force. So there's a lot of power here. And this is telling us that there are two types of energy with their eye on that galactic power center, supergalactic power center. You have the followers of Set and the followers of Heru, that during this age, we're in the age of the pole star of Polaris, which is in the Jackal, called the Little Dipper by the Westerns, what we call the Jackal. This constellation is called the Jackal or the Little Dipper. And we are in the time where that star, that constellation, has the pole star in it. Our North Pole star is Polaris in the pale fox. So the pale fox, the Europeans, are in an age where they have the power to siphon energy from the supergalactic equator to feed the white culture. Okay? Because they own the pole star. Their energy, their totem, the Jackal, owns the pole star. Now, in order for there to become balance, the Heru people, the followers of Heru, like the Kamals and the Africans, we have to focus our meditations, focus our rituals on the supergalactic black hole, and through ritual, pull in energy from it so it can feed our galaxy, feed Africa's galaxy, feed Africa's creation. What I'm saying is that the gay ancestors of Kemet revealed to me why we must be aware of this center, because it is the mother. It fuels all of the galaxies around us, including our own, of course. It's giving life. And whoever focuses on it the best can align with energetic tendrils, energetic fields, to pull in from the supergalactic mother the power to feed their people and protect their people. That's the role of a king. Now, I do have the words of power, and they reveal to me the ceremonies that must be done towards this center. That I preserve for my gay court, where we will be the first black people in heaven knows how long to perform the rituals to this super powerful center, to build my gay community first. And after they are built strong, we'll go out and help the world, help all people. But I must take care of my own first. So there's a detail that we must not miss here, which is this symbol here. There's one here and one opposite here. This means east. This is the symbol for east, optet. This is the symbol for west, amentet. Okay? Now, if you drew a line between these two symbols, as my previous video on the Dendera Zodiac outlines more in detail, you get the galactic plane. This is the supergalactic equator, and this is the galactic plane between these two symbols. Now, this, if you were to run back the clock to this point in time marked by this symbol, this east symbol, it is around the time when the first official historical king of Egypt, King Menes, King Mena, united the two lands. This symbol marks the establishment of the Kemetic kingdom as such under Mena. Okay? That's very important now, because if you follow this line, it crosses this deacon, which I won't go into here, but it enters into Orion. This is Orion right here. So the first founder of the empire did so, and I'm telling you, he planned it. This was planned not only by him, but by thousands of years of Africans studying the sky, deep from Noptoplaya, deep into the interior of Africa, near Uganda, etc. They've been waiting for that moment for tens of thousands of years to have the king be born who would, under the powers of Orion, which we call Sahu, unite the Kamal, unite the kingdoms. And they spent many generations of breeding their royals to give birth to the man, his name was Mena, who would have the energy, the ashe, to pull this off at the right time. So, this marks the founding of the empire by Mena, who happened to use the powers of Orion, the great sky warrior, to do so. Now, 2012, let's fast forward to 2012 AD, which is over here. We recently had 2012. You've heard about the great calendar of the Mayans, or the Olmec of 2012. And here we have that time. We're in that time right now. Note, it's opposite Mena. It's opposite the founding of the first Kemetic kingdom. 2012 marks the time opposite the beginning of Kemet as a historical entity. Now, if we follow the same logic, well, when it was founded, Orion, we just scanned up here and we said, oh, there's the first star we meet. The first full constellation is Orion. If we start here in the west, we scan up. These are deacons down here. But look, we hit Scorpio. And then part of this is Hercules. Okay? To show you better here, we went from here to Orion. We're going to go from here to Scorpio here in this salmon color, and this purple would be Ophiuchus. I'm sorry, I meant to say Ophiuchus, not Hercules. This is Hercules here. Ophiuchus and Serpens. This boat is called Serpens. This figure is called Ra or Ophiuchus. So what's happening here? During the 2012 age, there will be a new rise of Kemetic energy. New kings will start being born who will counterbalance these kings who were shut in. From here, the Zodiac goes this way, the stars go this way. During this arc, we had the African kings enslaved, their children enslaved, their nations raped and pillaged by the northern white foxes. Okay? And during this opposite age of the Orion kings will be a new set of African kings, Kemetic energy rising up to handle the poison of the scorpion, which would be Scorpio owns things like slums, the hood, devastation, enslavement, terrorism, that there would be scheduled a rise of Kemetic kings, Kemetic leaders around 2012 to counteract the poison of Scorpion. So, this is a major reason why you're seeing at this time around 2012, we're in 2017 now, but around 2012, we saw a vast jump in spiritual understanding, and the Kemetic leaders became more powerful around that time. There are three major Kemetic leaders at this time. Myself, there is a man called Baba Heru Samaj in New York, and there is Rauneferamen of the Osaraset Society in New York. So, those represent the rise of Kemetic powers come to undo the poisons inflicted upon the Kemetic people. And this is Ophiuchus here with serpents, the snake. And Ophiuchus is called the serpent bearer. He's the god of healing. He's Ra shown here in a chair, but he's the force of healing. So it's saying that there will be the rise around 2012 when the sun at winter solstice aligned with the galactic center marked by those two hieroglyphs. This one connecting to this one, this whole line's galactic center, equator. They would rise to undo the poisons of terrorism, colonialism, and to be like the sign of Ophiuchus, the snake bearer, to heal their people. Finally, I want to mention, here we see, let's go back to this image that's a bit clearer perhaps. We see here the bull Taurus. He's running forward but looking backwards. And the ancestors had me look at this carefully. The gay ancestors said, watch what he's looking at. You would think it's maybe Gemini here, these two here, but it can also be the supergalactic center here. When I did the calculation, the stars on the back of Taurus are called the Pleiades. And the Olmec calendar is based upon the Pleiades. The whole calculation is based upon the Pleiades set of stars. Well, the stars on the haunch of the bull, the Pleiades, if you were to calculate on the software, show me the ecliptic grid. The Pleiades lay upon exactly along a line of the ecliptic grid that points exactly to the supergalactic center. So the bull is staring. It's a code they put into this system, this image, hiding it from the profane, that this bull, which is symbolic of culture, because the word for ka is bull, and the word for ancestor is bull, and the word for ancestors is ka, and the ancestors make the culture. So they're saying here that the culture to be revived must keep its eye on the supergalactic center. Okay? Also, this animal here, he's also running forward looking backwards, almost opposite the bull. But he's looking at his tail, which points exactly to the supergalactic center. So they were hiding information. They said if you look at the two creatures running backwards, his back points to the supergalactic center, and his tail literally draws a line right to it. Okay? So, that's the research given. To summarize, the supergalactic center is an area of immense magical and spiritual powers. Right now, because the pale fox owns the North Pole point of Polaris, the white cultures have been able to subconsciously connect with the supergalactic center, pulling this intense cosmic power to fuel their imperialist agendas, to take over the world, take over countries, take over the whole planet. What I'm saying is that between the pale fox and the African hawk, Heru, sits this power base, this supergalactic black hole. That the Heru people can also now intend through ritual to pull energy from that same center. We have to do so to get the power to counteract the poisons done upon Africa by the Europeans. And that they were pointing to this area quite powerfully, particularly through these symbols of the animals running forward, looking backwards, meaning you have to go forward, but you must look back at your past. And that this point is opposite the founding of the Egyptian empire by Mena. And here we'd have new kings being born to heal the poisons, who will be looking back as they run forward, looking back at the culture, history, going forward to help their people heal. So that's basically it. And I wish to give you one more clue here. Recall I said that line runs from the shaft of the wheat, and they drew a bunch of lines here of the tails to make sure you catch the clue. So these lines, these are very long tails. For a donkey here and for a ram, it's a very long tail. It was a trick, a visual trick to the initiated to say, keep your eye on this line of lines, okay, as a center point of meditation. So that wraps up this quick synopsis of my latest research into the Dendera Zodiac. And I wish to acknowledge the gay ancestors of Kemet who brought this down to me today, and that I will be working on very assiduously on organizing the rituals for the men of my gay kingdom to activate this power, to pull it in, to make the gay community powerful and strong and mighty on the earth. We look forward to speaking with you all again very soon. Dwawend Hotepu.